Welcome, everybody. We made it to another Motivational Monday. I hope that you had an amazing Thanksgiving weekend. Let's just get right into it. So, for those of you that might be joining for the first time, we'll be talking about for the last few days about how to reinvent yourself, or maybe you're trying to just start over, and it's like, practically, how does that look like? What does that look like? And so we decided to take the creation of the world and parallel that to a creation of a new you. All right, so this is going to be interesting because today we're dealing with vegetation, we're dealing with grass, and we haven't even passed day 3 yet. So it's going to be pretty cool because first day, we dealt with light versus darkness. So we talked about separation, right? Second day, we talked about we talked about the void first, right? God is the one who created this shape, this space that needs to be filled. So the philosophy really begins there. It doesn't matter what you're trying to build, if it's yourself, if it's a business, whatever it is. The philosophical worldview is that there is a designer that's greater than us who has created things that may seem messy, but it's all jumbled up, but all of the material is there. All of the elements of heaven, all of the elements of earth, everything is already built in, ready to be shaped and formed. Okay. So we talked about that. Then we talked about light, talked about the separation between darkness and light, not over spiritualizing it. But what we are saying is that at the end of the day, there may be some things that you don't like about yourself. There may be some things in the past that you are trying to get over, or whatever the case is. And it's interesting that what God does is he doesn't immediately go to the formless darkness and the void and immediately addresses it. He sheds light first. It's interesting. And not only does he shed the light, he separates light from darkness. He doesn't throw the darkness away. As a matter of fact, it's used to shape how the rest of the world is going to manifest. That's interesting, guys. The reason why I'm excited about that is because you can take the dark parts, so to speak, of your life, and you can be able to allow those things in separation, allow those things to just create and to be a part of the process. Don't throw everything away. All right. So we talked about the void, we talked about the light. Then we talked about, what did we talk about next, guys? Hold on, let me check here. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Oh, we talked about the vault. So we talked about firmament. So the firmament is what's considered the heavens, but it separates the true exosphere, right? The stuff that we can't even see. The sky is blue now, but beyond the sky, it's dark, right? Like, so that has been, in a sense, capped off, and everything underneath that, clouds, rain, sun, all of that has been put underneath. And so we talked about creating a boundary. Okay. So we looked at that as well, creating boundaries for your life. All right. Then we talked about the land. All right. And looking at the land, we realized that at the end of the day, the land was always there, but now it's being separated by the waters. Interesting. So we talked about foundation. You need to have a foundation. Okay. Now that we have this foundation, we're looking at day 3 still. And this is interesting to me because in day 3, he doesn't move to, okay, let's have land and let's have vegetation. The land is still in day 3. And then he says, now let the land also produce trees and grass and fruit yielding seed, which means that fruit that is going to produce more fruit. And I always wonder, like, why would that be separate? Guys, I think it's separate, and this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about the grass, the roots. I think it's not separate. I think it's on the same day, because remember, the days have been split into the first 3 being about forming the world, and the last, or the next 3, filling the world. So everything that has been formed, light from darkness, sky from seas, and now you got land. And I just want to double check here. Yeah, and then you've got sorry, not sky from sea, waters from sky. So you got light from darkness, water from sky, and then land from sea. Those things have been separated, they've been formed, right? But with that form is also the vegetation that's on the land. That's not filling. That's not in day 4, 5, or 6. That is not on the side of where you're supposed to be filling things. That's on the form side. And the reason why it's on the form side is because we're going to see this tomorrow. We're going to lump the rest of them in tomorrow. Days 4, 5, and 6 is about rulership. So we're going to keep that there. So here's the thing. When you're looking at creating and having a foundation, the next piece is it's got to be useful. there's got to be a reason why this stuff is going to grow out of the foundation, why this stuff is going to be there. So if you want to have a foundation of, I don't know, of let's say of wealth, then you now have to start looking at the root of what it's going to take for that wealth to be produced, right? What the vegetation is going to be. Appreciate you, Mike. This one was a little bit difficult too, Mike, to kind of work through. I didn't have much time because we're kind of working through these things together in the morning, so it's like us both kind of grappling with it. But think about this, Mike. Think about this. In getting to the root, I'm going to share my screen here. In getting to the root, you have to, and this is going to be helpful, hopefully for someone. You got to figure out quickly, and I think that this is going to be something that is practical. What are the immediate behaviors that might have prevented anything from growing on that foundation? Right. Remember, so the foundation can be anything. Think of your foundation as a goal or as a vision. Think of it as the bedrock in which you're going to do everything else. And so most times it's supposed to be a vision. It's supposed to be a strong enough goal that everything else is built upon, right? So don't think of your land. And if we used habits last week, then get that out of your mind. What we're talking about is something that's greater than habits, right? So take a look at this, because this morning it was very tough waking up. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're gonna go here. So today I ended up doing 58 burpees, right? But I was tired. Like I just could not. I mean, I did them, but it felt so dreadful. And so you have to ask the question, well, why were you tired? So let's do this. The connection of being tired was, the first one is, I can just get this to write properly, is I didn't get enough sleep. Why didn't I get enough sleep? We're looking at the root now, right? So we're talking about this idea, I went ahead, the vegetation, so to speak, would be this, right? It would be the burpees. It's grass. Tired, not enough sleep. Well, what next? Why didn't you get enough sleep? Because you were doing schoolwork. I had this assignment for my healthcare class that I had to finish. Why did you end up doing homework so late? Because let me get this thing to work here properly, guys. Procrastination. Now, there's a lot of work to be done to begin with, but there are just times when I was like, man, I can't take this. I just need a break. And so I would just not even deal with it. And the procrastination is because there is this anxiety. I'd say school, I'd say achievement, whatever you want to put there. And that anxiety comes from fear of failing. Okay. That's my root. You guys got that? It was difficult to do the exercises this morning because of a fear in something else. It was a chain reaction that if you don't find and pinpoint the root of the thing, then it's going to be difficult for the vegetation to grow on your foundation. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I want to try to map this out again. So what we looked at was that I dealt with a feeling. Okay. Let's do this. We had a feeling. Start with your feelings. Start with how you feel. And then there's usually some action or behavior that has triggered that feeling. And there's usually perhaps some responsibility. This is me just mapping this out, but there's usually some responsibility that has caused or triggered that action, that behavior. And with that responsibility, there is a mindset. And it's not even the mindset yet. The mindset is on the other side. So this is too soon, right? Maybe I don't know what this is. Maybe it's just another action, right? Maybe it's just another behavior. And then from there, we go with the anxiety. So this is another do you see how this is kind of like, it's almost cyclical? Feeling, behavior, responsibility, behavior, feeling, and then you have a mindset. So we mapped out all of this together this morning to realize that at the beginning of the root, the beginning of anything that is going to sprout out of the foundation, that's still in day 3, guys. We're forming this thing. So vision doesn't come in the feeling. Vision comes in the forming side of how the world was created. You need to understand your mindset. If I overcome the fear of failure, and for me, the failure isn't like getting a C in the class. I have an A. Like I have a solid A. I can probably fail this class or fail, these last 2 classes and still end up with, like, literally get a 0 in both and still end up with a B. Like it's so it's not like failing, but there's a particular goal that I have in mind, right? And that fear can turn into anxiety. I don't think fear is a feeling as much as it is a mindset. And so it turns into anxiety. That is more of the feeling of just school and just finishing things. And that could lend to then you not wanting to face it. It's procrastination. So we're working our way in the reverse now. So think of it like a J. And what are you procrastinating? The responsibilities. So for me, one of that was just actually doing the assignments, right? Doing the work. Now the work got done. All right, we got it done. But look how long, it took as you try to wrestle with the feelings of trying to achieve what needs to be done. And with that, you end up losing sleep. Now, you can lose sleep because of anxiety. That happens a lot too for those of us that overthink a lot of things. But this was directly connected to the responsibility. And then you wake up tired. You wake up tired, and it's so difficult for you to do the burpees. Okay, so listen, guys, that's what we got for today. You want to figure out the root cause of why things aren't growing on top of your foundation. That's it. Start with the mindset, but here's the thing. We always want to, right? We always want to figure out, what is my mindset? Don't start there. So my apologies. Don't start there. Don't think about that. Think about the most immediate thing right now. How do you feel? Okay. Why do you feel that way? What caused that? What is the behavior? What is the action? And then just go down the chain of events, but ask the right questions. Everything is not about feeling. Oh, why do you feel that? And why do you feel? No. You felt this way. What did it impact? What caused that to happen? Not necessarily a feeling, but what was it? And you'll see it's either a feeling, it's either a responsibility, and then the ultimate root is your mindset. For those of you that just came on, I just want to show you this one last time. This is how you want to quickly look at how you can map out the root of why there's just certain things that aren't working on the foundation. We're talking about day 3 now, on the foundation of the land that has been created. If you want to know more about what the land means, go to the previous video. But so I'll say it again, just for you that just came on. So had a rough time doing 58 burpees today. Rough. Like, guys, I'm on a track to doing 60, and I felt tired, and I had to figure out, why did I feel tired? You go from the feeling to the action and behavior. It was a lack of sleep. Why did the lack of sleep happen? I was avoiding responsibility. Why was the avoidance there? It was because of the procrastination and the behavior. It was because of the feeling of anxiety. And then from there, you have, you track down, the mindset. Okay, guys, I know this was repetitive, but I'm going to keep repeating it unless, you just want to go back to the video when it's done. But that's what it's about. Stop trying to figure out your headspace first, and deal with the tangibles. Deal with your feelings. Deal with the behaviors that resulted because of those feelings, and just work your way all the way back till you realize, I need to shift my mindset. All right, guys. So I hope this, I know that this was valuable, but I hope that you will use whatever is useful for you so that you can live your best self as you choose to reinvent, as you choose to recreate who you are as the one that God has made you. All right, guys. See you in the next one.